Hello and welcome to the very, very first episode of the coveted All Sorts podcast. I am joined at the back of shop by my co-host, Mr. Josh Gibson. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, mate. Thanks. How are you? Really look forward to seeing what we can do with this podcast. So, boys, let's go. Let's see what we can get this to. Blow this up, boys.
Let's do that, definitely. So, disclaimer before we start the podcast and the themes and everything. This podcast will contain some strong language, as there will be some heated discussions.
Oh, yeah.
I am sure.
Definitely.
I am definitely sure. So, what we are going to be doing is... So, my name, as you know, is Thomas Bedbrook. As you know, he is Josh Gibson. The podcast is going to be about all sorts of different topics. That's why we've named it the All Sorts Podcast. As you know from all of my other videos as well, it will be unedited, so the stuttering, the jittering, I might get some words wrong. There'll be trains in the background. And
sorry about that, folks. My bad. We are filming this currently at my house, so... Yeah, I live right next to a train line, so this should be fun.
Yeah, this should be fun. At least we'll be trying to talk over it. The podcast will be in two parts. So this is part number 1, which will be about half an hour, 20 minutes, who knows. And then the second part will be once me and Josh go and have a break, have a drink, etc. We'll be back for part 2. But I'll remember to list the parts in the description so that you know and you don't get lost and don't watch one before the other. We are also hoping collaboratively over the 2 videos to get 50 views and around 10 likes, as the most viewed video on my channel so far is my beginner's guide to Formula 1, which I'll link at the top right hand corner of the screen here, and that's had 28 views so far, which is a channel best for me, which I'm really, really happy for. And before we begin again, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. YouTube analytics have said that 55% of you who didn't watch the last video weren't subscribed. So Josh, what do they need to do?
Subscribe! Hit the subscribe button now!
Hit the subscribe button!
You failed me for the last time.
Exactly. So, the theme for this podcast is going to be Star Wars! I
think that's enough of our terrible singing.
That is enough of our terrible singing. You are right. So yeah, the theme for this podcast is Star Wars. As it was May the 4th, about 17 days ago. We are late. We apologise for that. But obviously, busy schedules, work, university. You know the drill.
Hey, we're only human after all.
Exactly.
Sorry, I will shut up.
You
now,
need to do your.
Sorry,
you need to
folks,
stop
I will
your singing.
Shut up now.
You need to stop your
Tom,
singing.
Please take it away.
Okay. Anyway, so we will be talking about 5 different topics for the first part of this podcast, and then we'll stop, come back, part 2, and we'll be doing 5 more topics, more heated discussions, more heated topics, and then we'll sign out and tell you all what the next theme for this podcast will be. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, Josh, question. When did your love of Star Wars begin?
Oh, this is taking me back, mate. Must have been when I was about 3 years old, because I remember watching the films, because they were just so iconic at the time, because the sequels had just come out, as in the prequel trilogy, I should say.
Yeah.
Sorry, and yeah, I remember watching the first ever one chronologically the first one with Qui-Gon Jinn with my dad, actually. So, and I was just hooked from there. Absolutely crazy about Star Wars. Just had everything. I collected all the figures, got all the games. My first ever video game was, in fact, the greatest Star Wars game of all time. Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga for the Wii.
I remember that game. I never actually bought it though.
You missed out.
I know the first Star Wars game I think I ever played was when, sadly, when I got the Xbox One, when I got the first Star Wars Battlefront game. That was the first game I ever played.
Which one? No, talk about OG Battlefront?
The first one. The
2015 one, the remakes. Nah, classic, absolute classic.
Yeah. For me though, Star Wars, my love of Star Wars began through my dad as well, and so. Because he's a big fan of one of the films that we'll be talking about later, The Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
It was his favourite film of all time, and I don't know. It's sort of I just fell in love with like the stormtroopers, because I'm a bit of dark side at heart. I like the dark side and everything, the Emperor, Darth Vader, all those sorts of stuff. So I think my love of Star Wars came from that. But the burning question that I imagine most people, and I had, was how on earth was Star Wars created? Like, what were the origins of this thing?
George Lucas, right? Absolute mastermind.
I agree. And it's history lesson for you lot. George Lucas, back in 1971, wanted the rights to a series called Flash Gordon. The older people who may watch this video will probably know what the series that Flash Gordon was.
Flash.
He works miracles. Da, da, da. That's
That's
terrible scene. More
Sorry,
terrible scene.
I will shut up now. This podcast disclaimer is going to be me full of singing, so
Yes,
forgive me.
it is the first podcast. There are going to be mistakes. It's fine.
Oh,
It's
what?
fine.
You're calling my singing a mistake now?
No.
Oh, wow.
Forget it. This is the heated argument. Anyway, and he was denied the rights to Flash Gordon, so he decided to start his own space film series. Who knew it would literally take off, and metaphorically, of course, literally take off. And so, but also the other thing that I found quite interesting is George Lucas had inspiration from Lord of the Rings. Thing is, though, Josh, I have no idea how he found inspiration. Can you find any inspiration? I don't seem to. Wait, what? Yeah.
I suppose Aragorn is a tiny bit. The stories just barely resembles Darth Vader's story and Anakin's story. You know, for just kind of disgraced, but coming back and eventually becoming the best guy in the world.
Yeah, maybe like obviously Sauron.
Redeeming himself for like Sauron is very much like Palpatine as well. So
yeah, because he was like the guy in the armor fighting, and then he sort of was reborn a lot more powerful in the Eye Tower. But yeah, so and obviously for the younger viewers who watch this podcast, it's the books we're referring to, not the films, because the films came out a lot later. Yeah. So obviously the books, and just like the Harry Potter series, the books have more in it than the films do. So the inspiration from that probably came from the films. So the next thing, this is probably when the heated arguments start to come in. So, Josh, what's your favourite Star Wars film ever?
Oh, Empire Strikes Back, mate.
The same as my dad.
Classic. The bad guys win. Luke gets his hand chopped off.
Classic moment, that.
Exactly. I am your father.
I am your father.
That whole film is just so iconic, and it's just my favourite Star Wars film of all time. It's got the one with probably the least action.
Agreed.
But I like it for the plot, and obviously we can't get over that iconic line. No, I am your father.
Exactly. Thing is, I'm going to hold my hands up here. That's not my favourite film of all time. Josh is going to roast me for this.
I'm already staring intensely, folks. Don't worry.
And comments, feel free to roast me in it as well. But my favourite film is Rise of Skywalker. I'm sorry.
Shame.
I'm so sorry.
Shame.
It's just
sequel lover.
I know, but I'll explain the reason why it's my favourite film. It's because I like Kylo Ren. This is his lightsaber. I like
say something go wrong with a lightsaber there.
Yeah, I like Kylo Ren, and I just like that scene when like they think all hope is lost, and then he comes up over the thing, and all the ships are coming through. It's like all the rebellion and all people are coming to help them fight the Empire. I don't know. It gave me so many goosebumps in the cinema. Don't tell me it didn't give you goosebumps. That
moment was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. That was just when you hear everyone just start coming through hyperspace to launch the attack on Exegol. It's one of those final battle moments in cinema that you can't forget. Really.
Yeah. I can't remember the line that Lando Calrissian says, but doesn't he say something like, "But you're not alone," and then they all come over. So
that's exactly what he said.
It's so good, and then also obviously I can never forget this bit either in the Rise of Skywalker when you first see that Rey is a lot more than we first anticipated. When Kylo Ren and Rey were having that force battle, and she shot lightning out of her fingers, and we all just went, what the hell? What the fuck is going on here?
Alright.
What is going on?
We should have probably put a spoiler alert on this in case anyone wanted to go and watch the film.
Yeah, spoilers. We are going to talk about a lot of spoilers in this video. So please pause, go and watch the films before you resume this podcast. But it is what it is. Spoilers. We can't not talk about them. But yeah, so like, what are your probably your top 3 favourite parts of The Empire Strikes Back? Like you, as you say, your favourite film.
My favourite part has got to be I Am Your Father. That is just... Again,
it's just the pinnacle of movie history.
That is the pinnacle of Star Wars right there. That is just sums up the plot twist of the century. Because imagine... I'm not being funny. Because that trilogy of films was the first to come out. Before the prequels with, Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan Kenobi and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, it's just... Imagine not knowing what we know now. Imagine seeing that for the first time. We didn't know back then that Darth Vader was Anakin Skywalker. And then Darth Vader, imagine the people sitting in the cinema sort of holding on to their seats.
What is going on here?
As Luke's sort of hanging for dear life.
Yeah.
And then Vader just announces very calmly, "No, I am your father."
And then he goes, "Luke, join me, and together we will rule the galaxy as father and son."
I was about to say, I mean, that moment must have just... Everyone's jaws must have been on the floor. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because Dad was obviously... Dad being an old timer, I apologise, Dad, you are watching this, I'm so sorry, but Dad being born in 1971, he actually was in the cinema, I think, when that film came out. When he actually went to watch it in the cinema.
God, it came out in 1980, I believe, the original one, because The Empire Strikes Back, because the original one, I noticed this actually when I was watching it. All bar the new ones, all the trilogies. In fact, I'm not so sure. No, it can't be. Every trilogy, bar the last one with Rey and whatnot, came out in 3-year intervals. So, The New Hope came out in 1977.
Yes.
Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980. And then Return of the Jedi came out in 1983. And it remained that with the prequels as well. Because the prequels, I believe, it was 1999?
I think it was...
The Phantom Menace came out.
Sorry, we are experiencing some technical difficulties. My
co-host We're not experiencing... No, I was right. 1999.
1999.
And then, because that makes sense. Because Attack of the Clones, I know for a fact, came out in 2002. And then Revenge of the Sith was 2005.
The year before I was born. 2002.
I was about to say, me and you grew up in the golden era of memery, mate. We just been born after the prequel films had been...
Memeified, which we'll talk about later.
I'm not sure they hadn't been memeified at that point, but we definitely didn't know what we were being born into, mate.
Yeah, I think the thing is though, like, obviously we are talking about our favourite Star Wars films, but obviously I think the Rise of Skywalker as a whole, I think it was, even though, because I think obviously. We're going to be talking about this as well at the end with like theories and whatever, but the other thing I liked about it is when they always seem to repeat the same thing, because they had, I think it was at the end of Revenge of the Sith, I think they had Aunt Peru and I can't remember the Uncle Owen looking out at Tatooine into the moon. Luke then did it, and then Rey did it at the end of the Rise of Skywalker. They always seem to have kept that theme of them looking out into the stars, and the music starts.
But I mean, the end of the original trilogy, the end of Return of the Jedi, had him sort of more looking into the stars, didn't it, of Endor?
Yeah.
During the fireworks, but it still counts.
It still counts, yeah. And that was probably one of my, and yeah, that means we can move on to the next topic, which is actually we can talk about now, which is we will now collectively rank the 3 trilogies on their own, and then we will broaden out and then rank them from 1st to 9th.
Okay.
9. So first we'll do trilogies. So
also, disclaimer, folks, we are only doing the trilogies. If you guys want us to do a separate podcast on like some of the spin-off films like Rogue One, like
Kenobi,
Solo,
series, all those sorts of things.
The Disney Plus series as well. Just please drop us a line in the comments. Comment down below, and we'll see what happens if if this podcast blows up. We might do part 2 Star Wars.
Part 2 of Star Wars. It is a big.
I mean, it is a massive subject. There's no way we're going to be able to. Just 2 parts of one episode.
Oh no, exactly.
We're never going to cover it.
Yeah, our Nerd Musk needs to be released. Anyway.
God, yeah, this is going to really reveal my nerdiness, isn't it?
Yeah. So, firstly, collectively ranking the 3 trilogies. So this is not. We're not talking about individual moments in individual films. We're talking about the trilogies as a whole concept. This is going to get heated again.
This is going to be very heated.
However, I think we can actually come to more of an agreement on this than we can for the other one, because the other one 100%. We will never be able to agree. But trilogies, I'm going to say my order first, okay? And then you can argue as you're more of a Star Wars connoisseur than me, I think. I think for me...
Well, I wouldn't say that. I think you're stronger on just the main films than I am, but I sort of have more of a broader knowledge, because I obviously read the expanded universe. We are not going into that today, folks. Don't worry. I'm not going to nerd out on you guys.
Too much of a rabbit hole, exactly. But yeah, so just because, and Josh killed me when I told him I hadn't watched the, well, not original trilogy, but like the Revenge of the Sith trilogy. Sorry, he looked at me in a way that I'd never want him to look at me again. He looked at me like he was going to kill me.
I basically had the full-on Anakin Skywalker Revenge of the Sith yellow eyes. The hatred I felt in that moment.
Yeah, because going through school and stuff, I was just like, "What are you talking about?" And he was looking at me like, "Do not talk to me about. You've never watched this trilogy." I'm like,
You have failed me for the last time.
Yeah, I'd never watched that trilogy before.
So you're welcome, folks. I've saved the day. I've saved the podcast.
Yeah, but imagine me coming onto this thing and not having any knowledge about those three films. But anyway, so I think for me, the trilogies, and you're going to kill me, and it's only just because I've only watched it recently.
Alright, go on.
For me, just because of the whole thing, it's going to be the New Hope trilogy.
Yes.
The J.J. Abrams trilogy, and then that
trilogy.
No!
Categorically not. You were doing so well with the New Hope trilogy, and then you had to go and fuck it up, didn't you?
Well, it's opinionated, isn't it? I mean, this is
You were like Jar Jar Binks. You were a blithering idiot. You were the human personification of that creature. God, I can't stand that creature.
Yeah, neither can my dad. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, remember, we're not talking about it in like films. We're talking about it as a concept. The trilogies are because.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I still don't believe what I've just heard come out of your mouth. You were doing so well because so my three trilogy, the ranking of the trilogies to me goes New Hope trilogy because obviously it's a classic. Then it's the prequels trilogy, which is Revenge of the Sith, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, not in that particular order, and then it's the J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams
cooking up some specialities in the back of shot.
I was about to say, yeah, you just got me just doing like cooking blue milk in the back.
I still don't know what you're talking about.
Do you not? Oh my god!
Sorry, we're going off on a tangent here, but we'll get back to it in a second. What do you mean by blue milk?
Do you not know what blue milk is? It's like a beverage they have in Star Wars, and they drink this sort of like...
I thought you were talking about blue milk in real life.
There's blue milk in real life.
Yeah, there's blue milk, blue label milk, and green label milk. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, no! Oh, I'm losing my mind.
I am so sorry. It's just a drink that they have.
Yes, it literally quite literally is milk. It's the colour blue.
Oh, sorry. Very literal of me. I apologise.
That's literally what it is.
Okay, I'm sorry. But yeah, so I mean, we've come to an agreement on the fact that the New Hope trilogy is top.
Yeah, because it's a classic. You know, you just.
Yeah, but the reason why I have to put that trilogy down the bottom is just because I'm gonna get hated by a lot of people here.
Yeah, guys, come on. If you guys are gonna comment at all, at least make it hate crimes or something like that. I don't care.
I don't like those three films. I don't like them, and they're not. Okay, he's staring at me now. I take back my stare. I mean, I think. I think the reason why I don't particularly like that trilogy very much is just because the Revenge of the Sith is memed too much.
That's the whole point of it.
I know.
It's meme beyond belief, and I love it because of that.
Spit water on myself. Continue.
The amount of meme potential in that trilogy, in Revenge of the Sith alone, is just mad.
I mean, but also the thing is, like, the funny film. I mean, obviously, I'm sort of going off topic because we're going to be doing individual films in a bit, but we can lead into it, can't we?
Yeah.
With Revenge of the Sith, well, I think one of my favourite moments is obviously when he just I know it's a bit gruesome, but when he walks into the thing with like the dark thing, and he like and then the children go like, and he just goes like, looks at the children, and we're just oh no,
mate, Anakin Skywalker, just absolutely not.
Yeah, but if any of you have seen this, if you guys have ever watched Markiplier, then you know the Trying to Laugh clip I'm talking about when they do the I have the high ground bit in the Japanese anime typos. It's over, Anakin. I have me. No, that's just, I can't explain how funny that is. But yeah, we're going off topic a little bit. But then again, that's what podcasts are for. Then you think, but yeah. So are we in agreement? New Hope trilogy is a thing. But Josh, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to a minute to explain to me why that trilogy is better than that trilogy. The J.J. Abrams, the Revenge of the Sith trilogy is better than the J.J. because.
Oh God! All right, well, is my time is starting now? All right, the choreography, absolutely brilliant. Lightsaber fights are so much better in the prequel trilogy than they are in the new trilogy.
True.
The meme potential. Just the general way the characters are written and the overarching story is so much better. It's got so much more plot armor and far less plot holes. And I just, I love this prequel trilogy.
And it's just the fact that he just goes.
And plus, my favourite character's pretty much one of the main stars in it.
Yeah.
So that was also, you know,
and the fact that the fact that Anakin just goes, I don't like sand. That's probably one of my favourites. But yeah, that then leads me on to okay, to keep you happy. Well, how about will you agree to New Hope trilogy being first, and then them being tied at second?
No.
We're not. Thing is, though, honestly, we're never ever gonna come up with. We're never ever gonna agree on this because I stand.
All right, I need your help now, guys. I may not be on the camera, but guys, I need you. Trust me, I'm a very trustworthy person. True. I need you guys to comment down below what your favourite trilogy is. Do your own ranking of the trilogies, and help me convince this uneducated fool that the prequel trilogy is better. So please just spam the comments with it. Just spam the comments with memes. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you spam hello there or hello. I don't like sand. Whatever it is, just please comment so we can educate this fool.
All right. And that means we can move swiftly onwards to the individual films. We will now collectively rank the individual films from first. Well, we're not going to do best to worst because I don't think any of them can be that bad. Really, realistically, and then we'll just do 1 to 9. Okay, so obviously this time we don't have to look at it just as like the trilogy, which means we can look at them as individual films. So where do you want to? I mean, as we're talking about Revenge of the Sith.
It's going to be up there.
We can lead in with that one first. There's a truck in the way. Anyway, but we can lead into this one first. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because of all the memes that have just come out of it. It's just the amount of times that I just see it come up on Reddit. It come up on not sponsored by Reddit.
I'll say definitely not sponsored by Reddit. We are a sponsor-free podcast at the moment. Yeah, but. The amount of things that I see on Reddit, the amount of things I see come up on my Instagram, on my TikTok, and everything, it's just, it's been memed so much. But then again, like it's sort of, I don't know. But for me, it sort of just takes out the, you know, it's been memed. So it's. Yeah, but like you don't have to watch it as sort of like a memed film, if you know what I mean. If you just forget about the memes, I know it's hard because there are some iconic ones in there.
Hello there,
General Kenobi.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's just, if you watch it as the film, it's actually a pretty good film.
But yeah, I think, but as a collective, like as an individual film, because obviously, I think ranking the individual films is going to be a lot more difficult than doing it as trilogies.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because obviously, each film, I know obviously you despise the J.J. Abrams trilogies, but even you have to admit there are some good moments in it. The only thing, and I want to talk about this quickly, I don't know if it's in The Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi when they go to the Ewok planet.
That's Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. But Dad thinks that it was so ridiculous to have Chewbacca screaming the Tarzan call when Tarzan came out after it came out. Do you know what I mean? So either they edited it for like as the remastered version, or they just, do you know what I mean? My dad. Shout out to my dad, by the way. He just thinks that it's ridiculous why they had while Chewbacca was screaming on the branch, swinging on the branch, they had him doing the Tarzan call. He just thought it was ridiculous. What do you think about it though?
I think it's pretty cool actually, but I mean again a bit convoluted considering Wookiees can only speak their native language, and you'd hardly hear someone just you'd hardly hear someone doing that, would you? This massive teddy bear that could rip your arms off.
Yeah. I think, but also, I think as well, like, our thing is though, I can't talk about, because my favourite Star Wars moment of all time isn't in one of the trilogies. It isn't, but it's in Rogue One. Because we said we weren't going to go down here, but I'm going to talk about Rogue One for literally 30 seconds because
you got 30 seconds.
Because you probably know what my favourite bit of that film is, and it's when they're on the ship and it sort of links between the start of A New Hope and the end of Rogue One, when there's just darkness and they're all waiting to fight, and you just see the red lights have just come out of nowhere.
Star Wars hallway scenes are just done right.
And you know, and he just like, and he just like, we're a bit screwed here now.
No, probably the rebel soldiers in that moment were thinking, well, shit.
We're just like we're a bit screwed.
Gonna die.
That's right. He's like, quickly pass the plans through the door. It's just like just dying and everything. But yeah, I promise not to talk about Rogue One, but obviously
that's our 30 seconds up.
Yeah, but that's my favourite Star Wars moment. But anyway, so I think I don't know. I think undoubtedly we put Empire Strikes Back at the top.
Empire Strikes Back is the best film. I'm sorry, like it's just again, mainly because that classic moment of "I am your father," but also just because of the ending and it sets it up in such a cliffhanger.
And then, okay, I might get another. This is not J.J. Abrams, I promise, but I would put Return of the Jedi second.
A solid option. I'm not gonna lie. For me, it has to be A New Hope next.
I see you have constructed a new lightsaber, and then just like, and it's just the fact that Luke accepts that his father is who he is, and he said, "I accepted the fact that you were once Anakin Skywalker, my father," and then and that sort of thing. But and then like, and also just the fact that he stands up to the Emperor and he says, "Your overconfidence is your weakness. Your faith in your friends is yours." I can't do a good Emperor voice. He can, but I cannot.
I was about to say, if you guys blow this up, I will do it. Okay.
Yeah, get 20 likes on this video, on this podcast, and he will do the Emperor voice live.
We will do a short upload.
We'll do a YouTube short of him doing the Emperor voice.
Palpatine impressions.
Yeah, but we'll save that for then. So get this video blown up, otherwise he won't do it. Anyway, so strong option. Do you think are there any other contenders for second or
second for me? Well, like I said, New Hope. New Hope, easily the second one for me.
I mean, it is. It is the like there are some funny moments in that one as well, because like two of the things that my dad really laughs at is when R2 doesn't play the message for Luke, and he goes, "I don't think he likes you at all." No, I don't like you either, and that sort of thing. And then like and obviously as well when they leave and go into that, I think it was like that the bar, and then he goes, "He doesn't like you."
Oh God, yeah.
I don't like you either. Just like, but also like the way that he learns the Force and uses, and you know, like gets the ion torpedoes. It is a good thing as well, and then it also comes up with a really the famous line in that film, which is, "That's no moon, it's a space station." And you're just like, oh no.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking. Anyway, but yeah, so this now means that we need to have not an argument as such, but like we need to decide whether New Hope goes second and Return of the Jedi goes third, or the other way around. Unless Return of the Jedi goes further down, unless.
I don't know. To be honest with you, it's weird because
we're still technically ranking the trilogies in order, but we're not
in the order. I say that's partly what's on my mind, but I'm sort of half hesitant for it, and it's I don't know. I think honest, if I had to be in my personal opinion, I think Return of the Jedi is good. Don't get me wrong. It's it's in the.
It makes me cry at the end of the film.
It's in the best trilogy, and
Yeah.
it's got everything you want in it for an ending.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Vader redeems himself. The Emperor,
Well, doesn't. But
doesn't. But
spoilers.
does.
Spoilers, but yeah, we'll get onto that in a bit.
But honestly, I think again, just because I've been growing up with sort of like the meme generation, and just because I've grown up with it, I think Revenge of the Sith probably goes third, and then Return of the Jedi fourth.
Okay, so
That might be me being harsh there, but
obviously, comments. You say what you think as well, whether you agree or disagree with us. So we've got Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi.
yeah.
So now we've got Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace, and then the Abrams trilogy to do. Please, can you just let me have fifth for the Rise of Skywalker?
No.
Okay.
No. No. None of the J.J. Abrams trilogy is even getting in the top 5, mate.
Oh, fine. Okay. So out of the Attack of the Clones or the Phantom Menace, which one is coming fifth? Which is rounding out top 5 for you?
This is a tough one, actually. It's definitely one of those two. I might be tempted to let you have Rise of Skywalker in 6th.
Okay, but what's going fifth then?
I think Attack of the Clones, probably, because it's the first time. I mean,
I do like that. I do like that film,
Attack
to be
of the
fair.
Clones. I just love the bit where it's all just the 200 odd Jedi just reveal themselves throughout the arena and just start fighting. And it's an all-out melee. I love that.
Oh yeah.
And then that film is really, if you think about it, I know we go on about how the other films are great, and I know we're only putting it as 5th in the list.
Yeah.
But Attack of the Clones really is the catalyst for almost every event. It's a catalyst for the Clone Wars. It's the catalyst for every sort of Order 66. It really sets up everything that the fans love, really, and the majority of fans believe. Because I don't know about you, but I have yet to encounter a Star Wars fan that does not like the Clone Wars.
So we've got Attack of the Clones 5th. Then we put Rise of Skywalker 6th.
I'm willing
to put it.
I think marginally, because of the ending, I'm willing to let you put it above the Phantom Menace.
Okay, and then Phantom Menace there. And then
Phantom Menace at 7th.
And then which one? The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Which way are you putting it?
Force Awakens first, and then Last Jedi last. The Last Jedi is also last.
Yeah, but I know, but The Last Jedi has another one of good cinema moments that I like is when Luke Skywalker comes out and they're all firing it, and he just goes like this.
It is good, but I think the allure of, because I remember, like, if you've got to think about it, mate, this was about 10 years on from Revenge of the Sith. Force Awakens, it was like, oh my god, it's a new Star Wars trilogy. We've been waiting for this for 10 years. And it was just introducing the characters and just really...
Yeah.
Admittedly not very well, but...
Admittedly not very well, yeah. So that's...
Still, it was good. I mean, we've got that iconic line where Kylo Ren just screams, "Traitor!"
Yeah. But also that I think that scene's been memed as well when he goes, More! I'd stop! But yeah, so...
This man trying to do his best Vince McMahon impression.
Yeah, so... As we're coming up to the half an hour mark, we're on 34 minutes at the minute, I think. But, so, let's go through finalised order, okay? So we've got Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, Attack of the Clones, Rise of Skywalker, Phantom Menace, Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi. Yeah. Alright, and that rounds it off for part 1 of the All Sorts podcast. We'll be back very, very soon. Well... For us, it'll be a long time, but for you, it'll be very, very soon. And getting ready for the second part. Remember to click on the next video to start the second part, and we'll see you all at that point.